Alright, summoners, good evening, and this is Gray 4. Now I'm spectating a game, a team of black minions and against WLG. So for the first ban, they banned Olaf. I don't have any particular idea why, and Gwen is a pretty good pick here for the blue team. That's why maybe they banned Gwen. Now we're waiting here for the second ban here for the red team. They might wanna cancel out the Aatrox, Yoni, Zeri, yeah. Okay. The rules in these tournaments are all champions are allowed to play. They can't play any champions and no banning of the newly released champions. So Lee Sin here is a really good jungler, starting from early to mid game. Let's see their third ban. Now there's a lot of options here to take a first pick. So Zed can be annoying in side lanes and is a pretty good champion that can handle squishy champions. And as for Gragas, I've seen a lot of Gragas in competitive scenes, in tournaments. They're picking AP support or semi-tank support Gragas, like the Rod of Ages Gragas that farms in bot lane. Yep. So they selected first, they picked Yuumi. Yuumi is really annoying in side lane. In bottom lane with her ADC or APC perhaps. Now, for the first pick here, first and second pick, they picked Senna for the first pick. Now Senna is a scaling champion, but I don't know what they would like to do with Senna. Other teams put Senna in support, roaming support, or a scaling AD in the bot lane and transitioning into the mid lane. So they picked Wukong. Wukong is a really good teamfight champion, so he can play top or jungle, so it's a flex pick. And as for Fiora, it's the same. She can play mid, jungle, and top lane, so this pick might be going into top. So let's see their third pick. Lonely Say. Okay, now we're seeing a traditional pick for these teams. So the past teams, we're seeing APCs lately, but this one is have more of a traditional approach, and they're picking Ezreal. So it matches the Senna for the scaling one. And as for the third pick here on the red team, they picked Sett. Sett can be played as a support, as a jungle or top lane, but I doubt the jungler. Usually he goes support or top. Now for their fourth ban is Aatrox. Very good eye. I didn't know why did they pick Aatrox. Aatrox is really good in this patch. He is quite good in front lining, taking too much damage and healing it. So they banned Nasus. Yep, Senna and Nasus, one of the classic bot lane strategies. Scaling. They are good in scaling indeed. Now for the last ban is they banned Vex. So Vex is a good team fight champion too. So she goes into the mid lane, or maybe some other teams puts her into the bot lane to scale. They just leave her alone there and scale from early to mid game. Now, as for the last ban here on the blue side, they banned Diana. Diana is a really good team fight champion too. So now the lineup here for the blue team, they lack frontline, they need tanks. These three here champions are really squishy. As for Yumi, Ezreal, and Fiora. Yes. As for the red team, they have two champions for frontline, and they picked Karma. Karma is a really good pick right now because she can deal tons of damage with her empowered Q, and she has a really good ultimate and the empowered shield for the team. She can do a lot of things for her team. Now, as for the fourth pick here in the blue team, they picked Yone. Now, Yone is pretty good in jungle and mid and top lane. So, I'm guessing they might be putting Yone in jungle right now. But they need to pick a tank, so they might have to pick Yone in the put Yone in the mid lane, and whoa, they're not interested in picking a tank. But never mind, Yone goes into the jungle, boys, and Ari into the mid lane. So they have a pretty good engage. They have Yone, Ari, and Yumi for the engage. But for the red team, they have a pretty good engage too. They have Wukong and Set, and they're picking a AD mid lane. Maybe Irelia is going into the mid lane, but let's find that out later. Now the players are swapping for their champions. Now, if I were to ask, maybe the red team's draft is much better. Oh, okay. Set support and Karma mid. So their lineup is pretty much balanced because they fairly have two front lines, one back line. Senna is their back line, and Karma is their the middle one, the middle guy. She can deal damage and help her team, giving shields. And as for Irelia, she is in the cleanup crew. Now, as for the blue team, they have Yumi, Ezreal, so their bot lane is pretty much in scale right into the early game. Now, they have a pretty good engage, especially if you don't have wards. You better watch out with the Ari and the Yone pick-offs, and they can easily follow up by Ezreal and Yumi, and maybe Fiora. I don't know if she will come into the team fight, but she may be taking towers into the side lane. If she got fed enough, she can deal with Irelia pretty easily. She have her own repose, so she can dodge Irelia's stuns. But we will find that out later on. Okay, now so we're heading straight into the early game, ladies and gentlemen, as both teams go out their bases, preparing for the early game. Now, this ward drop is so they can avoid other players invading their jungle camps. So they both, Wukong and Karma, dropped a ward behind red buff and blue buff, so can avoid someone invading it. And as for the Wukong, he starts in the Krugs for Yone, starting into the red buff. And a pretty hard trade here into the top lane. Both are in low HP, but it doesn't matter because they both have their own fruits. But that's all. They don't have any sustain anymore. And here into the bottom side, the Senna is the support one, so Seth will be in charge in last hitting the minions right here. And as you can see, there's a ward right here, a beautiful ward right here actually. It's really good if in the early game you spot the jungler, because you can do certain plays if you found the jungler early on in the game. For example, they found out that the Yoni is in bot lane, so they decided to take this, the bottom scuttle crab, and if the Yoni didn't notice, Wukong can just take both of them. But these guys have a really good rotation and dive here into the top lane. It's really early in the game, and Irelia disposing her flash and trying to stay alive for as long as she can. And as you can see, Wukong is here in the top lane. Now, Wukong still follows Ari with her flash behind the wall. And I guess red team won that trade-off. That is really good for the Wukong. But that is quite bad for the Irelia because she missed, I think, half a wave maybe. It's half a wave. Now the wave is pushing into the top lane. Okay, Asset deploys his ultimate, and Senna deploys his ultimate in 1v1 with the support, and Yuumi won that fight, ladies and gentlemen. A classic 1v1 support right here into the early game. Not even 5 minutes have passed and we are seeing action here into the top lane, as both top laners deploy their ulti, and Irelia winning that fight. Azrael ults and hits Irelia. She decides to back off and does not take the plating here into the top lane. It's a 150 gold. It's now lost forever. Whoa, I didn't think that the tower plate popped off, but I don't know. Now the Yuumi here is looking for something. She was just wondering if they can take mid, and the charm hits too small. Gets poked. This is way too much damage from the Karma, and you can see her item. She already built her Ludin's Echo, and too small takes his. Her plant, and Irelia goes in, trying to bait the repose of Fiora. Her ult doesn't hit, but it doesn't matter anyway. They both take down Fiora here into the top lane. Now, as time goes on, Fiora is really behind this game. 0-3. Now in 15 seconds, both of the first objectives is spawning. Ulti got burned here by the Lonely Say, by the Yuumi. They don't have any ulti anymore. I don't think they have to contest this. Maybe try for steal, but Yoni goes in anyway and tries for the kill to Cringe K, and Cringe K almost got hit by the Ezreal ulti, and he steals it. Blue team got the Infernal Drake and Red team is really quick in their wits. They acknowledge that they won that fight, and instantly Wukong goes up and tries to take the Herald. And Irelia and Karma both took a plate or two. Maybe a plate or two. But after this, I don't think they should keep fighting. They have to recall. Yeah, that is a great decision from both of these teams. Now, Yoni is pathing up here in the top side. He's looking for something, but what? Oh, the tower is still not dead. I don't know if Yoni can still can kill Irelia. Oh, and Irelia spots them, drops the ult, and Yoni is down again for the second time. For the third time, I mean. He got killed again. Great timing here by the Wukong. As you can see here, Karma is still pushing mid, and they are trying to push bot as well, but they don't seem to find any place here in the bot lane. Oh, and Fiora dies again. That is her 4th death in the game. Oh, 5th death in the game, I believe. And their top laner is over. Their top is over. I don't think that she can recover from that. It depends on how they play. How they play in the mid game. Oh, and a combo from Senna and Seth, displaying their superiority here in the bot lane as they win out both of their fights. Now Irelia is here in the bot lane, taking the scuttle crab for his team. For her team, I mean. Ari might have to flash here. To use her ult. And only uses her ulti and ignite. Wukong has no ulti anymore, and Charm hits, but I don't think she has any means to escape anymore. As Seth running to get the kill and still get the kills under the tower as Yone goes out. Oh, Immortal is trying to kill here, but is not successful. He doesn't have any damage as for now. As blue team desperately defending the tower, still not enough. Red team is dominating right now. Let me check if WLG. Oh, okay, so the red team here is the WLG, and black minions is the blue team. Now the WLG takes down the 3rd tower here in the bot lane, but they don't seem that and Ezreal gets killed again. It disrupts his scaling, and his support dies too here in the bot lane. The Senna and the Seth is really fed this game. And Yone looks for something, and he's trying to kill the Wukong, but is not successful enough. And as the WLG heads down in the bot lane to take another tower right before the 10 minutes of the game. Now Rift Herald is respawning soon, so I don't think that the black minions are able to contest this right now. Yui here in the mid lane, trying to get the gold as she can. They have to group right now. The black minions have to group right now and try to pick one player at a time so they can balance out the gold lead that WLG helped. Lonely Say is picked up again by the WLG team as they head down here in the Ocean Drake, trying. This Yoni is getting bullied by the support. Cringe K is bullying this man. And that is really unfortunate. Immortal doesn't seem to have any more resources and dies again as Fiora goes in, but the repose is too early and he got baited along with his team, and they sacrificed Yumi, so Fiora can still live. But they took 2 kills, took the red buff, took their chickens, and even took the dragon. WLG is really ahead in this game. They have a 14k gold lead as of now, and I don't think that black minions can come back in this game. Now Ezreal dropping his ult into mid. Seth is looking for something. He has a flash. He might just be able to pick someone up here in the mid lane. That seems too impossible because black minions have a ward right over there in the wolves camp. And Seth's flashing in, drops his ult into the Yone and takes him down. That is a good macro play coming here from the WLG team. Team WLG. Now, can black minions still come back from this game? Their whole team is dying one by one, and Fiora gets picked again right here on the bottom lane. Oh, and Senna almost hits the Ezreal. Senna drops his ult, and Yumi doesn't do anything for his team. They kept dying and because of the gold lead that WLG have. Now WLG needs to buy their items and regroup again for doing a Baron play. So Irelia can stick here in the bot lane and be a nuisance for the enemy team, and four other players will be here hovering over at Baron to secure it. They can do a lot of stuff, especially when they're ahead. Okay, Fiora drops her ult and Miss barely hits, and Irelia goes in again, and Yumi almost made it, but Irelia still lives, but it cost her flash. Seth going in with 2 players and still 1 auto for the Ezreal. I think it's fine. He still have his haymaker. And the wave here into the top lane is not that it's really far. They forgot to push the wave, but they're calling a Baron fight. I mean a Baron take. They're doing a Baron take right now. And wow, blue team is trying something. Ari gets picked by the Wukong Cyclone, and Wukong flashing over the wall, trying to catch Immortal here, but Immortal goes back, and Ezreal Duke snipes Cringe K in front of the Baron pit. That is very beneficial for Ezreal, because I believe that was quite a money that he got from that kill. It's all over now. Irelia is really fed this game, and they can't do anything from this. Still has repose, Oh, and the charm hits. They take down dead game 23, but it doesn't matter. They keep pressing on. They keep pushing on. Ari doing anything that she can to survive this game, but still got taken down by Wukong. Now Irelia is following the dragon, so nothing's wrong for the WLG, the red team right here. Now all they gotta do is recall, get their items, regroup, or maybe send Irelia here into the bottom lane so they can pressure out black minions and make a Baron play right here, or they can go as a whole team right here in the Baron, force black minion out of their base and try to turn for a team fight. Symphony is looking for something. She's really confident right now, and she hit the ult and hits her ulti and drops the Zhonya's so she can survive. Immortal trying to live, but he gets caught by Cringe Case Root, and all of them are dead except for Fiora in the side lane, but she can't do anything. And that's the game 1 here for the black minions against the WLG. WLG takes game 1.